지금 스피커 상태가 좋지가 않아서 제가 자리를 옮겼습니다. 네. 일단 이렇게 바쁘신데도 불구하고 시간 내주셔서 감사합니다. 지금부터 5G 시대의 이스라엘 혁신 기술이라는 주제를 가지고 이스라엘 기업체 6개 업체를 모시고 시작을 하겠습니다. 일단은 시작하기 전에 제가 한 가지 말씀을 드리면은 웨비나는 1시간 정도 아마 소요가 될 것 같고요. 끝나고 나서 한 10분 뒤에 1대1 미팅이 시작이 됩니다. 그래서 사전에 신청을 해주신 분들은 제가 거기 맞춰서 시간하고 조정을 해드렸고요. 이 웨비나를 들으시고 추가로 미팅을 원하시는 업체들은 저한테 언제든지 말씀해 주시면은 오늘이나 아니면 내일 중으로 해서 그 미팅을 한번 조정을 해서 알려드리겠습니다. 저한테 메일로 보내주시면 되고요. 제 메일 주소는 아마 다 알고 계셔가지고 제가 뭐 따로 말씀드리지 않겠습니다. 그리고 오늘 시작은 저희 야니버 골드버그 대표님 오프닝으로 시작이 되고요. 그 다음에 업체별로 ABC 순서로 해서 발표가 되도록 하겠습니다. 오케이, 야니.
So, thank you everyone for joining us today to our 5G webinar, co-hosted by us, the Israel Economic and Trade Office in Korea, and Israel Export Institute, Mr. Karel Amitai from Israel, and 6 innovative Israeli companies, No Traffic, Drivenets, Saguna, Texel, Tetavi, and Vorpal. And the 5G market in Israel is growing as in all the other, in the entire world. And actually there is a tender by the Israeli Ministry of Communication on its go for the establishment of a 5G network in Israel. But not only that, the fact that many Israeli companies, many Israeli startups are now developing all kinds of applications for the 5G era, as well as a fine academic research on ICT technologies and 5G, are providing a great opportunity to cooperate with Israeli companies these days. In this webinar today, you will hear from the companies, from the Israeli companies that I mentioned, very short pitches, but we invite you, as Jion was mentioning in Korean, to establish B2B meetings with those companies. We invite you, if you find those companies interesting, to set up meetings through us by sending us an email. We will provide the email address of Mr. Song, Jion Song, in the chat room. And then you can set meetings either for today, as some slots are still available, and also for tomorrow or for next week. So without further ado, I would like to invite Drivenets to have their presentation. Please.
Okay. So thank you very much and good morning, everyone. Let me share my presentation here. While I do that, I have to share with you that I first set foot in Korea 25 years ago when I closed my first deal with LG LCD in 1998. So I'm very happy to reconnect with you guys. Appreciate what you guys did in your country, and let's take it from here. So my name is Asaf Eyal, and I'm a VP Business Development and Strategic Accounts here at Drivenets. I'll try to run real quick through what we do, and then we can take it further on. So quickly about the company, a very busy slide, but you should just know the company was founded in 2015, and until 2019 we were in stealth mode, funded ourselves, self-funding ourselves. We deployed 2 years after our inception. We deployed our first product. And beginning of 2019, we raised $170 million round A from Bessemer Partners and Pitango. Bessemer is well known in the US, and Pitango is one of the leading VCs. Since we came out of stealth, if you want, we won many awards, both in Israel and outside of Israel. The last one being the Cool Vendor Award from Gartner that we got just last month. So in fact, this is just to demonstrate that our message resonates pretty well with what happened in the market, and I think a solution like the one that we are presenting is something that is way overdue, if you want. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to solve two problems that you guys have. The first one is the revenue per bit is going down. So while we as consumer are paying the same, we are asking to get more and more for that. The cost per bit is being reduced as well, but not as fast as it should be. So the traffic is going up, as you can see here, and obviously COVID-19 changed it even in a different way. I'll show you in a minute why. The revenue that you are seeing per bit is going down, and the cost per bit is not going fast enough. Therefore, your margins that are here are being squeezed, and if this is not enough, COVID-19 actually took you here, where traffic grew exponentially, or not exponentially, but grew fast in many areas. Most of your networks actually sustained the growth, but your margins did not grow as fast as the traffic demand. And that is definitely indicative to what you're probably going to see with 5G. You're going to start maybe slow while you're going to deploy, and the handsets are not there, and the applications are not there, and some of the IoTs are not there. But in a very short while, you're going to see pretty much the same phenomenon. The second problem that we are trying to solve is the following. Your network is very, very, very complex. So you have an enterprise network, a broadband network, and a mobility network here at the axis, if you want. And then you're starting aggregating it. You build your edge where you connect to other carriers or to data centers or to content providers, and then you build your core. But the problem is that in each step that you are, you see different demands, and therefore you see different products. So you have multiple product, multiple operating system, multiple vendors, and this is really, really creating three main problems. First, you have low resource utilization, because while the enterprise network might be idle in the evening, the broadband at home is actually very, very active, but the networks are not converged, therefore utilization is low. You have tens of routers of different sorts. That makes operational complexity. It's very, very typical to see 20, 30, or even more than that models in one network. And the cost is very high because you have to buy a box from a vendor, and you don't really have the flexibility. So two issues. One, your margins are being squeezed. The other one, your network is very, very complex. And with 5G that is going to come and connect here in this area, you will have to make additional adjustment. So what we try to do is we actually try to do what was done in the compute and storage 15 or 20 years ago. We actually separated the hardware from the software, okay? So we, we build an ecosystem of white boxes that are being manufactured not by us, but by ODM in Taiwan or anywhere. That can be Korea as well. We wrote our software as a cloud-native software, so it's all built on containers running on an x86 server. I'll show you in a minute. And then we actually virtualize the network end-to-end, and that's why we call it network cloud, okay? It is network cloud because we try to mimic what the hyperscale cloud providers did, and that's exactly what you see here. So the history is the monolithic chassis, where you buy a chassis with line cards, some fabric engines that connect the line cards, and some control cards. And this is a box. You have to buy it all as one unit. You can add line cards. When you run out of capacity, you have to put another one, either build them in one class or put them one next to another. And we decided to break that model completely. And in fact, what we did is with only two hardware building blocks. One we call is NCP, the packet processor, and the other one we call NCF, the fabric. So the NCP is identical to what a line card will do. So the active ports will be here, and the fabric, the NCF, is same as the fabric engine that you see in the chassis, and this is the hardware. The hardware is run by our software. The software can run on any x86 server running in the cloud. And we provide this, and the customer or somebody on behalf of the customer is buying the hardware themselves. And, and that's how we give the flexibility of building different size clusters with the same exact building block. So you can either have, if you want just a standalone, a 4 terabit box, where you just want to do internet peering, so you can do that and you just take one. And then if you need a small cluster, let's say for a metro area, you can build a cluster of 16 or four boxes like that. A bigger metro for a bigger area can be 24 of those. And then if you go to the core, you can go up to almost 800 terabit. Okay, 800 terabit is probably more than the entire country of Korea needs. But the beauty here is that everything is starting with a small box. It's not that small because there are 40 ports of 100 gig going to the user and additional ports that going into the fabric. But you start with one building block and you can build your network with that, providing a port density that is in many ways unmatched. Now, our software, and remember that, if we go back here, that's the hardware that is being used, but we don't manufacture this hardware, we don't even sell it. We are the one to bring the software to run on top of these boxes. And the software was written from scratch, so it's not, we did not rely on anyone else, and we did a very hard work of trying to close a gap with companies like Cisco, Huawei, and Juniper, who've been developing their stack for the last 20 years. But we have, everything is built in containers, so we have the flexibility to add or replace any part of our software. We have a centralized orchestration and management system that allows these boxes that comes out of the box completely dumb, if you want, and make them into a smart piece of the cluster or the first building block of a cluster to be. And of course, as I showed you before, you can scale to any size you want. And already today, we are running a router that is much bigger than anything else that's out there. And I'll show you later, towards the end of my presentation, I'll show you where it is deployed. So in fact, if you look at that, this is where we are, the DNO, the Drivenet operating, the driver operating system. So we run it here. So in the cloud, anywhere you want, you run either what we provide or even third-party applications. There is an abstraction layer between our software to the hardware that is actually running the packets, if you want. And then we have our DNOR, the Drivenet orchestrator, that is actually making it all work together. In fact, if you want to look at that, it's very similar. It's somewhat similar to what VMware did, where they build an abstraction layer over the hardware, and then you build the application on top of that. Okay. So as I said before, a lot of work, but the idea came from the hyperscalers, where they did pretty much that for the compute and the storage. So here is an example of what we have. One of our routers that is this one is running actually 96 boxes, providing almost 200 terabits of traffic. That is, I would say, equal to about 3 or 4 routers that are available today in the market. All the boxes here are boxes that were manufactured in Taiwan by some ODM, and we have a couple of those installed already around the world. I'll show you in a minute where. So, in fact, if you remember my very busy slide before, given that we have only one building block, that hardware building block that can cater to multiple applications, and the fact that the size of the deployment is not limited by a chassis, and the fact that we have our operating system running everywhere, what we are able to provide to our customer is the ability to use the same hardware across the network, and to run different use cases for each. And by doing so, not only converging multiple networks, as some big operators are already trying to do, but also allowing to simplify it and solve, if you want, the second problem that I mentioned before. The first problem of dealing with your cost definitely is being driven by the fact that we disaggregate the hardware and the software, and then you can go and buy the hardware directly at a cost or a cost plus by any ODM that you so choose to do.
אסף, סליחה שאני מפריע, אנחנו כבר מעל 10 דקות, אז בוא תנסה לארוז את זה, בסדר? תודה.
Two slides. So if you look at that, I mean, we are already deployed in multiple places for multiple use cases. So we have two very large routers running core application. We have 4 small clusters running internet gateways, some aggregation at the edge, at the metro. So in fact, if you look around, we are covering most of the market. We haven't touched this just because there's so much you can do in a given time. The operation model is very important, I think. And while we provide the software, the operator or the system integrator on his behalf will just aggregate the software, will take the software from us, the ODM pieces from whomever, and provide the full solution. And in closing, I would say the software is used for multiple use cases, which makes your life much simpler and flexible, especially coming into the 5G. There are many, many things that will have to be done differently. We can scale we can scale up to 200 terabits. The software is telco grade. We're being tested and being deployed with leading North American operators, and the hardware is the software is fully hardware agnostic, therefore can run on multiple ODMs, allow you to enjoy the cost benefit. So I hope I managed to race quick enough, and that's it for me.
Okay, thank you so much, Asaf. If any of you have any questions to Asaf, you may raise them in the Q&A button. And now we will move to No Traffic, Ilan Rosenberg. Ilan, you with us? Okay,
Hi.
so אילן, אני רק מבקש שתעמוד במגבלה של 10 דקות ככל יכולתך. Go away, אילן, please.
Sure. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And thanks to everyone organizing this event. So I am Director of Business Development for a company called No Traffic. And essentially, No Traffic has developed the world's first autonomous traffic management platform. We believe that improving transportation systems using 5G is probably the biggest area of focus in the current market in terms of smart city services, and we're happy to be part of it. So right now, if you're looking at the cities, traffic management is a big pain. Big reason for that is the fact that it's been heavily neglected over the past over 100 years. Ever since traffic lights were first invented in order to replace police officers in 1914, the methodologies used that we call fixed timing plans, which basically means that someone goes out to the intersections, counts traffic, and based on that, defines different types of traffic plans. That methodology, for the most cases, is still being used today. About 99% of signalized intersections in the U.S. Are still working based on fixed timing plans, and from what I heard, it's pretty similar also by you guys and all over the world, across the world, still using very outdated technologies. I'm actually previous to joining No Traffic, I work for the automotive industry, and I think it's really very clearly apparent that while the automotive industry has been rapidly progressing over the past 60-70 years, the infrastructure side has really kind of stayed in the same place. The roads right now, they're not dynamic. They are not managed in a way that's taking into account the fact that there are a lot of changing circumstances. Even before COVID-19 hit us, there's a lot of issues. Maybe they build a new shopping center. Maybe there's a new residence complex. Maybe there's an accident. Maybe there's rain. All those circumstances need to be taken into account as you're managing the intersection. The other problem is that all these intersections, even the smart ones, what we like to call smart intersections, are disconnected from one another. They're connected to some kind of centralized system, but they're not talking to one another. And what that means is that when you're trying to manage an intersection or an infrastructure, the approach that you need to have is not to just look at that individual intersection, but you should be looking at an entire grid. And that's exactly what No Traffic is doing. So we developed an autonomous traffic management platform, which essentially means that we deploy some sensors at the intersection, which allow us to understand better who is approaching in real time. And based on that, using artificial intelligence, we can define what is the most efficient, what is the most optimized way in which we can operate not only that specific intersection, but an entire grid or corridor for the city. So looking at the intersection, what the system looks like. So we put up two components. We have a sensor unit which sits up high. And like I said before, we're fusing together camera running machine vision and radar. And that allows us to not only understand all the objects that they're approaching, but also classify them. So very similar to what you would have with a connected vehicle where you know who it is, what's his position, and what his speed is. We are essentially creating virtual BSMs, virtual messages, connected messages for the non-connected objects. So we're classifying, is it a bus, is it a car, is it a truck, also pedestrians, bicyclists, scooters, and so on. And based on that modeling that we do, which is all based on edge processing, which is a great use case for 5G, based on that modeling that we're doing through the sensor unit, we're transmitting all the relevant process data down to the second component, which is our optimization engine. Our optimization engine is sitting in the traffic light cabinet, connected to the traffic light controller, and essentially simulating and defining what is the most intelligent way to operate the traffic signal. In addition to that, all these intersections are connected to one another. So all the data is transmitted from one intersection to the other regarding relevant platoons of vehicles that are coming upstream and downstream. So as you are optimizing the intersection, you're taking into account information about vehicles that are coming from nearby intersections. And on top of all of that, the city has a dashboard. Through the dashboard, the city can define fully customized policies, traffic policies, of how they want to run their city. And I'll give an example of what that means. So not only could you prioritize pedestrians or bicyclists or public transportation during certain times, during a certain time of the day. Let's give an example. If near a school zone, the city wants to prioritize school buses, pedestrians, and bicyclists between 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning. And then from 10 to 4, they want to have a regular traffic flow progressing through the corridor. They can define that type of policy through the dashboard and let the system autonomously implement that at the grid level. Essentially, what No Traffic is really doing is it's connected between two domains that have been completely disconnected up until now. You have the infrastructure domain on one side, and you have the vehicle side on the other. And we are taking the data coming both from the connected and the non-connected vehicles, but we're also correlating that information with the operations of traffic light. And that kind of extremely uniquely positions us both in terms of traffic optimization, also in terms of advanced mobility services, looking into the future of what that exactly means, allowing the city to define more dynamic and more customized services that they want to give to any type of specific user. It could be commercial fleets, it could be garbage trucks, it could be road as a service. There's a lot of opportunities which we don't have time to go into right now. And also, of course, in terms of safety. We're doing a lot of experiments. By the way, about 40% of car accidents happen at the intersection. With autonomous vehicles, it's about 90%. So currently, 90% of car accidents in the US involving autonomous vehicles happen at the intersection. With motorcycles, it's about 55, 60%. So it's an extremely vulnerable spot, which needs to be taken into consideration. So as we're optimizing traffic, we're also sending safety messages based on the ability of the system to detect the trajectory of any two objects. And again, unfortunately, I don't have time to show you this right now, but I'd be happy to have additional conversations afterwards. Circling back to traffic optimization. So during some of the case studies that we do, we can show a reduction of anywhere between 40 to 50% in delay reduction. So people are waiting half the time that they were waiting before. There are a couple of additional benefits on top of that, some cost savings for the city. We're eliminating a lot of CO2 emissions. So there's a lot more to talk about in that terms. Currently, No Traffic is mainly based, our business operations are mainly based in the US. We are looking to expand towards South Korea and Japan in the near future. That's our strategic plan for 2021. Very interested in finding those type of partnerships. We have a lot of discussions and a lot of partnerships going on with mobile operators and also with tier ones and OEMs. So very interested in having some more discussions around that. And that's it. Looking forward to having some more discussions. Just one last thing I forgot to mention, we have active deployments across the US in 7 cities, in California, Arizona, and Ohio. So we can already show a commercialized scalability. Thank you, guys. Looking forward to having some more discussions.
Thank you very much, Ilan. You get a bonus for doing it in less than 10 minutes. So thanks. The next one is Ido from Saguna. So please, Ido, go ahead. Ido, you need to unmute yourself, please.
Yes, yes. Hi, everybody, and good afternoon to our Korean viewers and attendees. Thank you very much for spending your time to see this presentation. My name is Ido Gur, and I'm the CEO of Saguna. Saguna is a company that's focusing on edge computing, and I will explain first a few words about the market. What we see in the market today, that on a latency level, if you look from the internet edge peering point, the latency is very high, can reach even more than 50 milliseconds. When you come closer to the on-premises, the latency is going lower and lower. The latency requirements is going lower until it reach even 1 to 5 milliseconds in the edge computing area. And what happened is there's also a difference between the public networks of the mobile network operators and the private networks that with the LTE 4G and also with the 5G is started to offer also in Korea. And on premises, you have the consumers, okay, at the resident and also on a mobile phone, when sometimes you have an application like AR or VR gaming or AR or VR applications, and also 8K TV, where you need the low latency as a must. And also for the enterprise, there are certain type of application that required the low latency. And this enterprise, they are especially for Industry 4.0, there's a special needs. And let me talk a few words about Industry 4.0. What is the driver for Industry 4.0? The driver is there is a reducing more and more workforce. There is a continuous need and pressure for cost reduction, low and low product life, demands for a better health condition, and also much more new product introductions. And also the environment condition is also pushing for less energy consumption. All of this is pushing for a new way to drastically optimizing the production lines. This is a must. And IoT, edge computing, and AI, artificial intelligence, is the answer. And why? Because in order to create a cyber-physical, real-time controlled factory, you need 3 things. First, you have to gather all the information. Then you have to analyze the information using artificial intelligence and machine learning. And then you need to push back the information in order to re-optimize your factory. And this should be done very, very quickly. And the components you need in order to build this enterprise Industry 4.0 factory, you will need 5G. Why? Because the 5G is ultra reliable and ultra fast. The big difference between 5G IoT and 4G IoT is the latency and the reliability. And you will need ultra reliable and ultra fast compute. So for this, you need redundant virtual edge cloud. And also, you will need an acceleration of the artificial intelligence in order to support the GPU on the edge. If you look at the market, you will see that there is a need for high reliability and very low latency Industry 4.0, especially in the factory automation. And here in these cases, also, you can see that Industry 4.0 is, again, the driver and challenges must have 5G, ultra reliable low latency, together with artificial intelligence. And in order to do that, you need a platform, a software platform that will be highly, highly optimized. I would like to introduce you Saguna. And Saguna, it's a company we are focusing on edge computing since 2009, where we were established. Our headquarters in Israel. We have many patents, and we are focusing currently in developed APAC, in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, and also starting to work in West Europe. As you can see, we have already customers. One of our biggest and most important customer is SKT, where we have already in production network. And we are also working in Japan, KDDI, as you can see the list in front of you. Also, we did several enterprises in North America as well. And we have also global channels like HPE, and we are working also with Capgemini and start to work with Hitachi as well. So our product gives the solution to what I've described before. We have a product, the name is vEdge. And vEdge is a MAC router being managed by OMA, which is the Resource Virtualization, Management and Automation. We can work with any access, 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi, or landline. We have zero-touch automation. We can work with virtual machine, with Kubernetes, or any other type of appliances. High availability. We can work with GPU virtualization, and we are the best latency and reliability in the market, the best. And we build our system bottom up, focusing on enterprise. So we have one software that compresses in it both switching and routing, virtualization, and also the API to the mobile, all in one software stack being installed on one server. We build the vEdge. We split it into two types of routers connected in between with the NAT, load balancer, and traffic offload. On the network domain, we handle with one router, which is also connected to the mobile interface, the UPF, which is for the 5G, for example. And we have a different router that handling the virtual machine and Kubernetes. So in this way, we have in between the security between the network and the applications. And of course, we can connect also to the giants if needed, to AWS or Azure, no problem. So again, I would like to explain the uniqueness of Saguna compared to other options in the market. We can connect to any type of access. We can we have the best total cost of ownership in the market because we contain all the capabilities in one software. We have the ultra reliable low latency, and we are open to work with every hardware or supporting any type of virtual machine or containers. So this is in few words about Saguna. I also finished 1 minute before the time. So again, thank you very much for everybody, and be glad to have one-on-one business meeting if you need via the Israeli Export team. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Ido from Saguna, thank you very much. We will continue with Tetavi. Moshe, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining in. This is a little bit less technical presentation. I hope you enjoyed and we can set up a meeting later on. So basically, what Tetavi are doing will be shown in a few seconds. I'm going to review what basically the concept of volumetric video is. We talk about 5G opportunities for carriers. I will show some case studies that run around in Israel and around the world. We talk about several use case examples, and I will show a small demo if we have much time. So basically what Tetavi are doing is creating high fidelity holograms or mini-me's or avatars from real people. The volumetric video is captured in 3D and then can be used to view in any possible angle, and also being immersed into other areas like virtual studios or augmented reality at your own home, or using VR or AR goggles. The system itself is built based on Tetavi hardware and software solution. The hardware itself is off-shelf that is packed and delivered as a Tetavi solution. It's a fully portable solution, require no green screen and no other additional requirements other than actually a floor. The solution is end-to-end. That means that we support the capture and AI process, or more specifically deep neural networks and machine learning algorithms to build a semantic understanding of the human body, of the captured area, and also a distribution channel that either can be part of what Tetavi are doing, or we can connect to any third-party solution distribution, since all our formats are open and all the SDKs are open. COVID-19 create completely new demands in terms of creating content, in terms of distribution content for virtual events, for brands, and a lot of things are changed because people cannot gather around events. So the big answer is go virtual, but how can you do that? So basically, Tetavi Stage is a portable. That means it can be set up anywhere. And using 5G, we can upload anything to all the content to cloud servers or to on-premise servers and so on, and then use 5G to distribute that to many devices like mobile phone, PCs, VR, AR goggles, and so on. Everything can be done over the 5G network, and we have some experiments we did in the past with several major brands in the US, in Japan as well. Basically, if you want to look at a virtual concert, it's going to be like this. We pre-captured or live stream the events. We can also pre-capture some of the event in order to add some kind of effects, relighting, and so on. The virtual concert actually have all the people, all the performers inside, and people are joining in using enormous amount of devices that are supported to join this virtual event or lecture or any kind of event that can be created. Telepresence can create a lot of opportunities these days. Either it's HoloLens or Magic Leap or whatever. You need the actual people to join in, and Tetavi offer a solution to add real people into that event and for the telepresence streaming. One very exciting marketing campaign we did a few months ago was due to COVID-19, the Independence Independence Day celebration in Israel were canceled. No people can gather around. So basically, we created a virtual experience starring the president of the state of Israel. We had about 250,000 people watching this thing in 2 days, and the event is still alive. So basically, I can send the presentation later on. You just click on that, and the president of the state of Israel is going to pop up in your living room and greet you for Israel Independence Day. So we have about several thousands of people watching this simultaneously. It was the first national broadcasted augmented reality event based on a web AR. That means that nobody required to install any application. We partner with web AR partners to deliver this very exciting experience. Location-based interactive performance. This is like TikTok style or Snapchat style. When you capture artists and you can join in, or your kids can join in into the video clip and transmit that either live or pre-capture that and load that to social networks, and you can join in the clip. What you see here right now is a performer augmented in some area, and you can join in. This is completely new experiences that can be created using Tetavi technology. Virtual fashion show, retail, and e-commerce. Here you can see one of our studios. This is the studio in Tel Aviv. The model is walking in. I will show a demo a little bit later about this. The model is walking in very freely, and this is the iOS version and Android versions of her being transmitted and being shared. You can switch. It's like your own virtual fashion show. You can augment it at your privacy, at your own home, and you can look at the clothes, you can change the clothes, and so on. Very exciting experience. We work with several major brands in France and the US in bringing these opportunities. Okay. Mobile gaming or gaming as a whole, or also PC gaming. This is an experiment we did towards Tokyo 2020 this year in Japan. So basically, it's like a Pokemon Go, but with real people. So these are athletes from Maccabi Tel Aviv basketball team. You wander around the city, you find three-dimensional avatars of real players. You can augment them over the environment. You can have a mini game with the rigged information, and you can trade cards with your friends. Next generation is going to revolutionize the way all this content is created. We are exploring now deeply into deep neural networks to add additional cameras, additional capabilities to do system to make it more automatic, more streamable, and more easy and automatic to use using the deep neural network. And we put a lot of research on making this solution even more exciting and friendly use. We have several locations around the world. This is a partner this is Tel Aviv. This is a partner studio in Tokyo, Japan, Los Angeles, California, San Jose, California. And now we are going to set up our studios in other places in the world. We're going to announce it very, very soon. We have several partners. This is the list of announced partners. Of course, we have several partners that are only discussed under NDA. We founded 4 years ago with 23 employees. But although we are a very young company, you can see that people come from vast experience in doing a lot of things, both in the creative and computer vision algorithms and management. What we are looking for is collaborations and partners to build this amazing market, this exciting market, production studios that want to join in, AR, VR gaming partners, brands and content owners, and so on. We're going to open a studio in the near future in Seoul, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more about that on the face-to-face meetings. Thank you. I want to, the 2 minutes I left on my time, I want to show you a small demo so you will realize what a virtual human being is. So basically we have this model that will step into to the studio, and now she's captured in video. That means that she can be viewed from any angle in a very high quality. Few other things are done in this specific video. Just it was working only once, and it was automatically being looped by the algorithm, by the computer vision algorithm and the machine learning algorithm to stitch the first and last frames seamlessly. So she will be working infinitely. Now, this can be done for training, for sports, for fashion, of course, for music videos. We have several partners all around the world that working in integrating this into mobile, into virtual shows like fashion shows, virtual concerts, and so on. I will be very excited to talk with all of you about what this exciting new media brings. Thank you very much.
So, Moshe from Tetavi, thank you very much. We will move forward to Texel. Amir, the floor is yours. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure to present to you Texel. Let me start and share the presentation I prepared for you. Here we go. So Texel is all about supplying a personal TV platform. And the idea behind it is the ability to amplify content. So whomever has an OTT TV service in place, and most telecom companies and mobile operators have those in place, knows that the level of your content and the level of the experience you render to your user are the level of the perceived service in the marketplace. However, what we suggest is to add another dimension. And that dimension is actually to take the existing content and really make it engaging to the end users. And how do we do it? On the platform that we have developed, which is available obviously either from the cloud or private cloud as a service, we have created the following components. We have the ability to inject into the platform media from various sources. So it's not just the TV content, but rather the ability to get also radio audios and podcasts and vloggers from the other social networks and other related videos, as well as the user's own video from home. So user-generated content and elements that are related to co-viewing, which I'll discuss more in a moment. And within the platform, we are able to mix all those videos into a single stream that you could deliver to the end users, and not only deliver to the end user, but that single stream is something on demand. So we are capable to offer personal composition, and that, in essence, is one of the biggest challenges, both on scale, on serving the various devices, and I think most importantly is the ability to make sure that this is a low latency service and this is a service which brings a whole new dimension to the TV. And I think that 5G networks have a great match to the topography that we are offering, as well as the fact that we rely on edge computing to make sure that that personal composition will work. And that is inherent into the 5G architecture. As part of our platform, we have also modular video core, so all the ability to manage and manipulate and grow the video path. And we do that by overlaying on top of the existing OTT system. And the result is, of course, a very, very engaging experience that brings the end user the ability to experience the OTT TV as a whole on a new way. And just to give you a feel of how we bring that into play, and of course, to let you connect to it through the transition that we have been undergoing. So when we started this technology and developing it, we were fortunate enough to deploy it on Q4 of 2019 for a few customers of ours, which I'm going to tell you in a moment about, and those use cases. And it was very forward-looking in the sense that the engagement by the user, the remote experience was something that some of our potential customers were worried about the education and the acceptance. And since then, unfortunately, things have changed dramatically, and the adoption and the education in the marketplace has jumped dramatically. And hence, the core values of our products, which are sharing experiences across households, across domains, is something that now thrives even further. And the demand that we are seeing for the product is very, very high. The three elements that we built into the product are the following. We allow for co-viewing with friends and family across living rooms, so we can watch together the same content. We allow for other storytellers to be part of the experience as a whole. For example, the ability to hear a different commentary for the game we're watching, the ability to follow an influencer and watch the same content, maybe a reality show that they would comment on or narrate, which will make it more interesting or more matching to my taste, and not just the one that was appointed by the TV channel. And of course, the epitome of this technology is the ability to choose your own personal story, in the sense that you can actually design by the user the way that you would watch the content on the display. And as you can see in this example over here, you are able to select the viewing angles, you are able to select the commentary, you are able to select the storytellers, and of course, mix yourself into the picture. Just to show you how, you know, in a very high level, how it works. So we have, right? We have the multi-feeds going into the Texel platform. We have the co-viewing feeds that would come from webcams in the homes or from your mobile phone's camera. We have the broadcast feed with the various angles, which we all slice into different tiles, even the broadcast feed. We have the various storyteller feeds and the social and statistics, which we can get from various sources. So all of those goes into the video mixer. And then within the edge, or within the network topography that our customer have, we actually compose again the view that you would have on the various devices that you would be using. And this really brings the experience to the next level. And hopefully, and I will also share with you some videos that you will be able to watch later on. But I want to tell you also about some of our customers that are already adopting this technology, and tell you about some of the use cases. So we begin with Rakuten in Japan, which by all means they are our lead customers. They were the first one to test this technology with the NBA games in Tokyo in Q4 of last year. And ever since then, we have been working very closely with them, as they were our design partner to bring that into production. We are working with quite a few of their OTT brands, Rakuten TV, Rakuten Sports, Rakuten Viki, Rakuten Live. And we bring this personal TV platform into reality. The following months, July, August, we'll do some initial live full-scale event with our system deployed on the Rakuten Cloud. And it will be in the context of the Rakuten Live, so a huge amount of traffic and user and connectivity, and of course co-viewing and these type of scenarios. And later on, of course, we will continue to deploy the full breadth of the system. Next, we have Deutsche Telekom. Over there, we are very fortunate to be able to work with quite a few instances. So we're working with Deutsche Telekom Corporation, so at the level of the CTO office. We're working with the netcos from Germany, so DTG themselves. We're working with T-Mobile in Poland on two separate projects. One is with the Discovery TVN, and the other is with the TVP. And I want to tell you about those because those are very interesting. The straightforward one is the one that we've been doing with the TVP. They have the football rights in the marketplace, and we're going to do the ability to have this personal edge TV, so you could actually see what you want from the game and control it from the mobile phone, and select the viewing angles and select the mosaic that you will see on the screen. And the second one we discover in Poland, we're going to do the co-viewing scenario. And I want to talk a few words on the co-viewing, because co-viewing not only opens up to a service that customers want, and we can see this trend globally with big companies already deploying co-viewing services, but also opens up to new revenue opportunities. So it's not just about being part of the OTT TV stack. It's also about creating new revenues, because the ability to create watch parties and the ability to differentiate with the numbers of participants and the time spent on the watch party, and the ability to do monetization around the storytellers like you do with Rakuten Live, with giftings and personalized advertising. All of that is built into the product. And not only that, but one of its core values is the fact that any person can invite his friends from other networks and get them on board to watch together. As long as he is a paying customer, as long as he has the credential, his friends can watch together with him. And not only watch together, but the feed will be completely synchronized to the dot. Time?
מילים אחרונות בבקשה, מסרים אחרונים.
Okay, last words. I will share with you the follow-up video that will show you all of this in action, so you are welcome to watch it. We would be delighted to have meetings together with you and tell you more about BT Sports and Intel Sports and other customers that we are working with. Thank you so much, and that's it for me.
Amir, thank you so much. And we are now moving to the last panelist, but not least, Mr. Nir from Vorpal, please.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nir. I'm the CEO and founder of Vorpal. I hope you can see my screen. So, thank you for this opportunity and your time. Vorpal, we are a startup. We were founded in 2016, and we provide drone monitoring solutions to track both the drone and the operator. And by drone monitoring, I mean detection, localization, and tracking of all the drone traffic in the monitored area. This is, of course, a lot of applications for military HLS defense, but also we are working, we're also monitoring commercial drones from Amazon, Google, DHL, UPS, tax drone, etc. And we are helping large telcos to create new revenue stream and new business opportunities. We are already working with top-tier clients such as the NYPD, the new police department, the Israeli police, Deutsche Telekom, AT&T, Microsoft, the Israel Ministry of Defense, and some more. Before I move forward, I would like to share a video. So I will just switch to a video, short video. Just a minute, please. I hope it will run smoothly.
It's not a limit anymore. Technology has made drones cheap and accessible. But while everybody enjoys having a flying camera transmitting to his cell phone, drones also pose new security hazards, which must be counteracted. Currently, drone monitoring solutions are either not relevant or...
Are you able to hear the audio?
So, Nir, it's a little bit hard to hear the audio and the video is a little bit stuck, so maybe...
Okay, I will move
tell us
forward with the
about the
presentation. Okay, so I will move with the presentation. So our system, I will put the, okay. So our system is based on a distributed network of sensors, which are deployed around the monitored area. So we deploy passive sensors around the area we would like to monitor. We provide highly accurate wide area drone monitoring solution, again, detection, localization, tracking of all the drone traffic in the monitored area. We detect, localize, and track both the drone and the drone operator. Our system is fully passive, and fully passive means we do not transmit. Our systems do not transmit. Therefore, we can easily deploy us anywhere you want, and we will not interfere with the ongoing with nearby systems. We are fully compliant with all the civilian regulations. Therefore, any type of organization can use us. And we are, of course, we are working with leading telcos around the world. And our system is basically the only solution who's operational in urban and dense urban environments. Not only that, but actually, we have found out that not only that we can work on urban and dense urban environments, we can easily be deployed on existing cellular infrastructure. And this is exactly what we're now doing with Deutsche Telekom and did with AT&T and some others. We deploy our sensors on existing cellular infrastructure, collaborating with large telcos around the world, which enables the telco to create a new revenue stream for drone monitoring for both defense and security, protection, corporate espionage, etc. But also ready for the future, where we'll be able to monitor all the drone traffic of the commercial drones, drone deliveries, inspection drone taxi, etc. And actually, this brings us to a very new business model that we are now doing with telcos. So if today we are providing specific system to specific customer, dedicated system to customers, the ability to scale up on existing infrastructure, we can provide services. So we actually, with telcos, putting our sensors on the existing cellular infrastructure, we can provide drone monitoring services to multiple customers. And with relatively limited number of sensors, we can cover very wide area. We can provide services to multiple customers. We call it multi-tenant. So this is exactly what we're doing with Deutsche Telekom and others. We have our system deployed on existing infrastructure, and we provide drone monitoring services, content for protection, soon enough for commercial drones in a very wide area. So, so drone monitoring is a service, and this is a very important and new, exciting service we provide. So we actually also demonstrated it with AT&T and Microsoft over 5G and network edge compute. So we can easily deploy ourselves on existing infrastructure. And what we demonstrated with AT&T and Microsoft is that given enough network resources, so and robust networks such as the one provided by network edge compute, and being able to work on an edge compute on the cloud, we can easily support any number of drones in the monitored area. So in the near future, there's going to be dozens, if not hundreds, or maybe more, drones doing all sorts of commercial activities, from delivery to inspection to air taxi to police drone to many, many others. We shall be able to monitor and provide this highly valuable data, which is important for these commercial drones in near real time. So this is exactly what we demonstrated with AT&T and Microsoft. We're now exploring several new opportunities. So we put our solution, we deploy our solution on existing infrastructure, and working on the network edge compute, we are ready for the future of commercial drones. And this was actually such a success that it was even mentioned by Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, in his keynote speech last year. And And we are, of course, highly excited about this collaboration with AT&T, Microsoft, and others. Because this opens new verticals and new markets to the telcos. And it helps them actually leverage the existing infrastructure to create those new verticals and those new services, drone monitoring as a service. So just to rapidly sum up what you just said, if we deploy our sensors on existing infrastructure, this is just a slice of Chicago, we can easily provide services to multiple customers on the same hardware. So this is what we call multi-tenant. So we can provide a lot of services, highly profitable ones, on deploying our sensors on existing infrastructure. So this is the customer we can see today. So this is customers which are already looking for such services, from protection of airports and air traffic, from helping the police protect parades, for also governmental building and high and confidential building to corporate espionage. But tomorrow, so to speak tomorrow, in a couple of years when commercial drones will be flying all around us, the same infrastructure will provide services, drone monitoring services, drone air traffic monitoring services to Amazon drones, DHL drones, police drones, Airbus taxi drones, etc. So the existing system can provide this both these services to the existing customers, and we are ready for the future as demonstrated with AT&T and Microsoft. So if today we are providing wide area coverage for customers, tomorrow we can easily cover citywide areas deploying on existing infrastructure, and later on, when needed, we can easily cover the whole national airspace and being actually a core component in the drone monitoring, commercial drone monitoring infrastructure. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida. That's it. I'll be happy to share more on personal meetings.
Thank you for your the explanation. 네, 감사합니다, 여러분. 오늘 저 보팔 마지막으로 해서 오늘 저 5G 시대의 이스라엘 혁신 기술 세미나를 여기서 마치고요. 10분 뒤에 그 1대1 미팅 계획된 부분들을 시작을 하고, 다시 한번 말씀드리지만 들으신 중에 관심 있으신 업체들은 언제든지 저한테 그 메일로 연락을 주시면은 오늘도 좋고 내일도 좋고 아니면 추후에라도 미팅 가능하시니까요. 언제든지 연락 주시기 바랍니다. 오늘 귀한 시간 내주셔서 감사합니다.
Okay, so again, thank you very much to everyone, the Korean participants, the Israeli companies, to the Israel Export Institute, Mr. Karel Amitai, and to all of you for participating today in the 5G webinar. I remind you again, as we were also mentioning in the chat, and as June was mentioning in Korean, that you are invited to set up B2B meetings with the Israeli companies through us. We left the email address in the chat room. And by that, we are finishing the webinar session, and we start the B2B meetings online. For any of you who has already set a B2B meeting, you already know about it, and we provided you the details. And once again, thank you very much, and have a good day. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you.